Hello. Okay, so podcast debut today. I don't know when you are watching or listening to this, but first of all, I want to say thank you because that means you subscribe to my bonus content. Hello, yes. Y'all forgive my daughter. I have snatched her in here. She is here on her own volition. I did ask. However, this is my beautiful daughter, Maya, but she has some dental work today.
Yeah, so we're a little numb here on the left side, so...
Do you want to switch seats?
I know, part of me is like, do I want to turn?
Give them your good side.
No,
as
okay.
Lindy would say. Lindy would say, show them your good side.
No, it's okay. We're all just going to be gracious and move on.
Be gracious and move on. That's what we're going to do. And you're catching me eating. So this is going to be completely unedited. Like, we're just going to go for it. And what this series will be about is talking about the episode after the episode airs. So I'm not sure what to call it. If y'all have ideas, let me know. I want to hear in the comments. Okay, so if you have listened to the first episode of the Woman Everyday podcast, first of all, somebody said, isn't everyday one word? Yes, if you're everyday women. Like a regular.
Sure, I understand what you mean, yeah.
But we're not everyday women. We are women every day. Each day. There's a difference. Hashtag English. Okay, so.
Love.
First episode was Nikeya Young of Victorious Living Solutions. And she had a lot to share about, like homeschooling, what type of mother she wanted to be.
Yeah.
So, it just got me thinking, I don't know if y'all know, but I had considered homeschooling y'all.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the episode, and I was like, oh, news. I did not know that.
And then I was like, ooh, that middle school, though.
Listen. As soon as, yeah.
First of all, middle schoolers, and then, like, high school, like, subjects, I was like, y'all got me on that one. So.
Yeah, no, stronger woman than I, but
you guys were in independent school.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, would you have preferred to be homeschooled? Independent school? Like, if you could do it again, like, would you do independent schooling? Or would you have wanted to be in public school?
That is a very good question. Now that I'm in, I feel like I couldn't have had this conversation with you any earlier than today.
Okay, we're here. We've arrived.
Now that I'm old enough, I'm in a serious relationship of my own. Kids have come up once or twice, and my boyfriend has had a very different schooling experience than I. He comes from a relatively affluent family, but went to public school his whole life. Me, only ever having been in private school, we clashed there. Not that it was like a thing, but I just was like, oh, cool, public school. And he was like, oh, cool, private school, this thing that I know nothing about. So,
but differences have come up?
For sure. So now that, we've kind of had that conversation ourselves, I think looking back, I'm very grateful for having had an independent schooling experience. I firmly believe in private school and the institution of it all. I will say that, it doesn't come without its flaws. I wholly recognize my schooling experience for what it was and has been up until this point, and how it has affected me. Specifically,
both the good and the bad.
Yeah. I could say a million bad things, but I could say like 1,000,005 good things.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I think that
you would do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
And so it's kind of interesting now because, so I've got 3 girls. For those who don't know, Maya's my oldest. She's 21. And then I have an 18-year-old who just graduated high school. She's 18. and then I have a 16-year-old. So all three of you all started off in preschool at this one school. It goes from preschool through 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And all of you all started in preschool.
Mm-hmm.
You and Esther went through 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Amber through 8th grade.
And then transferred
to a public school. So, I mean, stark difference. I mean, culture shock for her, poor baby. Today's the first day of school also for Oklahoma City Public Schools. But she's doing good. I mean, I think each one has its pluses and minuses. Sure. But she is doing okay. And I think as far as public schools go, she's probably at the best one.
Yeah. And she's
for Oklahoma City.
Yeah. She's even expressed to me, you know, having had that experience in private school and then moving to public, she's like, I don't know if I would ever go back to private school. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if that's a thing for me now that I've been out. Like, is that really an environment where I can thrive? And, you know, and I totally get it. Personally, I would have been eaten alive at public school.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that because of your private school
experience? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I went to public school all the way through.
Yeah.
I loved it. I wish I could have recreated my educational journey. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I went to magnet schools. I went to Emerson Elementary. I went to Carver Middle School, and I went to Booker T. Go Hornets. What's up? Where my Hornets at? Yes. So if you're from Tulsa or just even from Oklahoma, then you've probably heard of all of those schools because of their stellar academics. Too. Yeah, and the population was also very, very diverse. Nearly 50-50, black, white, of course, other cultures and ethnicities there as well. But for the most part, those schools are very diverse. So I had a very challenging academic experience. Like at Emerson, they had a gifted and talented program.
Right.
And so I got to grow up in that environment all the way through.
Meanwhile, I watched my school become more diverse the longer I was there.
Yeah, very true. When we started in 2005, they had told us that they were making a commitment to make the school look like
the world around it.
Yeah, the neighborhood that it was in, which was obviously very diverse, ethnically, but also socioeconomically. So 100%. Yeah, and they put their money where their mouth was. I think they realized they had to do that to make that happen in that area, especially to create a socioeconomically diverse environment.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to provide scholarships because the school, and I'm saying scholarships, let me retract and say financial aid. Because Heritage Hall, that's the name of the school, it does not provide scholarships. They provide financial aid, need-based financial aid.
Yeah.
So they were able to do that. I think it's 5th grade through 12th grade.
Which is awesome.
And so that probably speaks to why you saw it become more diverse over the years.
Yeah. And even, you know, new faculty members that look like me, mm-hmm. and even other parts of the school as I aged out of them became more diverse. So,
okay, so Nikki talks about, you know, what type of mom she wanted to be, and a lot of it was how we viewed our own mothers. Like her mom was a stay-at-home mom. Mm-hmm. She also didn't work, at all.
Yeah.
Because she had a terminal illness, versus me. I had a full-time, you know, working mom. She worked outside of the home.
Right.
Sometimes 2 jobs during the holiday season. So, you know, Nikki grew up kind of feeling like, oh, I don't know. Like, there's some great things I love about my mom, but I don't know. Maybe I want to do more than my mom did. And then I grew up like, oh, I wish my mom was home to, like, make me sandwiches before before I get home from school.
Right.
And so you kind of had two versions of
I was
me.
going to say, yeah.
And for a minute, I was mom at your school.
Yeah. So my experience, I was kind of laughing. I was listening because I feel like I kind of had both. So you said probably 10 years, so probably around when I was 10, is when I had my first memories of you being at work, like that being a thought I had, like, oh, mom is working. But even before that, I remember you being active in my school life and volunteering and stuff like that. I've never known you to just be at home.
No,
and I feel like that's a very important note.
No.
And like, to the women that can do that, love you, power to you. Personally, cannot.
You don't think so?
No.
Because I feel like I've tried to raise you girls without, like, I'm trying to indoctrinate you.
Right.
But, like, it's a privilege to be able to be at home 100%. With your kids and raise them. I really firmly believe that. It was such an honor to be at home with you guys. Yeah. Until you all, shuttled off to school. But I always wanted you all to, and I mentioned it in the podcast, to have something for yourself.
Sure.
Like, yeah. I found myself, only because it was a mistake that I made, I found myself so wrapped up in your dad and you girls that I forgot what I wanted to be. I'm sitting in therapy, and the doctor is like, what do you do for fun? And I'm like,
yeah.
And so that's how I got plugged back into the theater too.
And even I went through a phase like that. Kaiser and I fell into a rhythm.
Kaiser is the boyfriend.
Yes.
We like him. It's okay.
But Kaiser and I, we realized how we felt about each other, the likelihood of this being a long-term thing very early on. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, we fell into, like, what we like to call our, like, old married couple routine. Mm-hmm. And we would go to school, we would go to work, and we'd come home, and we'd hang out with each other and our dog, and that's it. Like, we don't do much outside of that. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my identity for a while there, because of some other stuff too, like, was him and facilitating him and what he wants to do, and now that I'm kind of on the other side of that, and
I think I missed that part.
I was deep in it. Just, well, and I love that that's something that I'm good at. I think I'm really good at being someone's partner. I think I leaned a little bit too heavy into that, a little bit too hard.
Well, there's nothing wrong with supporting your partner, or
absolutely
your
loved
not one, your family, your friends.
Absolutely not.
Just making sure that you're taking care of you,
and that's the important detail.
If I could say this, taking care of you first.
Yeah. And absolutely, that is where I went wrong. It was definitely at the expense of my hobbies and the things that I wanted to do. Okay. And so...
Well, I'm glad you saw that before you traveled too far down that path.
Yeah.
I had a point that I was going to make, and it's gone. It's okay. Go ahead.
That's okay. So basically just... having experienced even just a little taste of that, and that's like before we even are talking about kids for real. Mm-hmm. If that's something that we choose to pursue,
okay,
being parents and having children and whatever package that comes in, I think I will definitely keep both my own experience in mind and, things that I've watched you do, things that I've heard you say in mind as well. I don't think I would thrive in a situation where my whole life was my husband and my kids and their schooling. I think absolutely I would need something outside of that for me.
Yeah.
And
It's
also,
important.
I can't imagine not getting a paycheck.
That part, girl, listen.
I really like
We-
paychecks
we
with my name on
love-
them.
We love paychecks.
We
You know what I
do.
love? I love signing paychecks.
That is the stage in life that I want to get to. Like, hey babe, approved your hours for this week.
Come on. Come on. Sorry. I'm making you laugh.
But yeah, like, very much think that that's something that I could
Yeah.
get into. That's
Sign
a
a
situation in which I think I would thrive.
You would thrive in that situation.
Yes.
I remember what I was going to say. Taking care of you first.
Yeah.
Not out of a selfish
No.
nature. Because I think sometimes that could be heard selfishly, but taking care of yourself first so that you can be a good
Yeah.
partner,
Yeah.
a good mother. That's also one of those things I pay for in therapy. You know, so making sure my tank is full first.
Yeah.
So that I can pour from that. I was a much better mom.
Yeah.
When I had my own thing.
And that's something that me and Kaiser, like, sans kids, have noticed about ourselves. Like, we're much better when we're both working. We're much better when we're both social.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
It was like, y'all were so
in each other's space.
Yeah, into each other, and y'all don't have anything else. And
Yeah.
then after a while, you start getting on each other's nerves. And it's like, you know what?
Like, why do you chew like that?
Do you have to breathe on every breath?
Every time?
Every time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
that part. So good. I'm glad y'all are learning. I really like watching you guys, especially at this age, because this is such this season of like self exploration and
Formative.
discovery.
Formative. Checkpoint for sure. Like, I'll never be any less than who I am today.
Okay.
If that makes
I love
sense.
that.
Like, I can never go back after having learned what I've learned at this point.
So how are you carving out time for yourself now?
I think a lot of that, so there's this thing, there's dependency. So being dependent on each other. There's being independent, which we all know what that one. I'm learning that in a healthy, happy relationship, you find yourself in this space called interdependence, which is basically just saying, like, we love coming together. We love our time together, but we're just pouring into ourselves, and we don't need to be with each other all the time.
That's good. I get that.
And so for me, it's been kind of re-emerging into society, hanging out with my girls, making time for just me and Harley, my dog.
The dog.
Just me and Harley. We're gonna have a great afternoon. We're gonna get some walks in, some cuddles, like, playing around in my closet, doing my makeup, and having nowhere to go, like things like that feed my soul. Another thing that I've been doing is staying at my own place and telling Kaiser, I love you,
but I'm going to mine.
I'm going to stay at my place, and I think you should stay at yours tonight, too. I am not a morning person.
What?
At all. Like, not even close. If it's closer to 5 than it is to 10, do not wake me up. Like, I want no part in it. But, so, like, being able to sleep on my own, wake up in my own space, uninterrupted, I find that it's much easier to get out of bed if I'm alone. And I get to just have those routines for myself. It's a form of self-care.
Yeah. You said you used 3 different words: dependent, independent, interdependent. So I'm going back just for a second because, like, those have been scary words for me. It's sort of like dependent.
Right. Or like codependent or whatever,
Like, oh no, we not.
Right.
No, we don't do that.
Same.
But here's the flip side of it. Like, we do need to depend on people.
Yeah, dude.
Like, and you need people in your life, even if it's like your guy,
Mm-hmm.
your girl, whoever your partner is. So for me, my husband, it's like, I need to know that I can depend on you.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
And you know,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely
but
not.
I think there's healthy dependence. There's healthy independence, right? So,
and that's where you get that interdependence. Where it's like, we're not independent. We're definitely not wholly dependent on each other. We're somewhere in between the two, and we've got a really healthy medium going on.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're carving time out for yourself with the girlfriend, the dog. Let's see. That I was thinking about Adam as you were saying that, because like Adam likes to go to the gym.
Yeah. Kaiser. Oh my god.
I don't.
Stop it.
Okay.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that. But yeah, I'm just not I don't have a Rolodex of like exercises. People
that
are
was
like
me.
Bent over row. I'm like,
who? And can you explain the form?
Yeah. And so
and then maybe do it 3 times in front of me.
I'm like, where's my phone? This is me in the gym.
Literally same.
So bent over row. Like, watch the.
Yep.
Okay, so I like, and so, and then what should have been like a 30-40 minute workout
is like an hour and a half.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's like, just kind of walk on the treadmill.
Yes.
Which I do love walking, which I found out can be just as well. So I have been.
One of the best exercises for you is walking.
Yeah. So I've been walking. So I get up in the mornings. And I think I have viewed relationships like, oh, everything we do together. And it's like in this season of life, and I think having gone through a divorce, it's like, oh, I need my time.
Yeah.
I need my time.
Yeah.
So, okay, you're going to the gym? Great. Because I am going for a walk.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to like put, play my podcast, not my podcast, but I just, listen to podcasts, or, taking nature. I love going to the lake. And I would say being there by myself, but I really enjoy the times where we can be at the lake as a family too. But I also enjoy riding my bike. Like, I know a lot of groups ride bikes, but I think when I'm exercising with other people, I feel compelled to like
socialize, talk,
and operate at their level.
That too, yeah.
So I was like, oh, I wanted this to be a little bit more
leisurely.
leisure. Yeah.
You're jogging.
I can't keep up with you.
For that.
Yeah. I was walking. I'm walking.
Yeah.
I'm not even power walking. I'm just
literally
like strolling.
That was some of my first trips to the gym with Kaiser.
Okay.
Because he's very gym. He's been in the gym for a decade. He's a certified personal trainer. He knows what he's talking about. But going to the gym with him the first few times, I was like, okay.
Bruh.
Like, why are we moving so fast? First of all.
Bruh.
Yeah. Very much
You're
that.
a little zealous.
Yeah, like, real overconfident. Thanks.
Yeah. Kaiser has muscles.
Yeah, he's got a couple.
He got a few.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to stop right there.
Yeah.
We're going to stop.
Because that'll turn into another conversation.
Another podcast. Okay, you talked about kids. So I'm curious because you were like, if we decide to go there, right? And I've noticed this generation, let me go back to my generation. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of friends who have chosen not to have kids.
Yup.
And like have stuck to that. And don't take this the wrong way,
but
sometimes I look at them and I'm like, wow, what is that? Double income, no kids?
Dink.
That dink life.
Listen,
it looks
enticing,
real nice.
Yeah.
And then of course you have people who wanted kids and can't have kids.
Yeah.
And they see me or, people like me who have kids and it's like, wow.
Right.
Oh, you've got a heritage. And I do. Like, I've always wanted to be a mom. I'm so grateful that I have kids. Thought it would have been 2. And then we ended up with 3. And then it ended up with 5. So yeah, and I love it. Like, wouldn't change it.
Right.
But I look at the freedom and flexibility that
Yeah.
couples have that don't have any kids.
Like, just traveling.
And I think it is so fascinating to me.
It's just a different kind of life.
Because we live in a society that is sort of built around families.
Yes, 100%.
To be so bold and audacious to be like, you know what?
Right. I'm just not going to have kids.
I don't want kids. And it's different than I can't have kids.
Very different. Making the active choice to not be a parent.
Yeah. What kind of things, and I know you haven't like settled on, but what are some of the things that you are considering?
Oh gosh.
When you think about whether or not you want to start a family?
I think it's really important to note that growing up, I'm the oldest. I think we said that. Firstborn daughter of an ethnic family. I want just like let that sink in.
It's the vibe. I don't know that life. But yeah, auntie does.
Yeah, so very much I was the mom of my friend groups and of my sisters, and I mean not their mom, but you know what I mean.
I get where you're going.
Very maternal, nurturing personality. Like, I'm the person that brings Band-Aids and Tylenol and a little mini first aid kit in her backpack. Like, that's me. I always wanted kids. Every time I dated growing up, I was like, this is my husband, and we're gonna have so many babies, and then I don't know what happened. I think maybe I like turned 18. And I was like, ew, no.
This looks like a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, like I'm good on that. Also, so many things have happened in this world, and not to be like pessimistic or anything, but they're not selling me on raising kids here.
In America?
Yeah, be it biological children or otherwise. Like, I don't know.
Is it the cost? Is it the culture?
It's the cost, it's the culture, it's the systems in place. I'm just not all the way sure that this is an environment that I would want to raise a child in, but then also on the other hand, it's like, well, you create that environment and like you can, do the work to
make it a better place.
Yeah, but then also like, do I want to do that? And if so, do I want to do that anytime soon? Like, I'm 21. In my head, I would have been, 15-year-old Maya had me having kids at like 24. And that's 3 years from now. And I don't know if I'm going to be ready.
By the time I was your age, I was pregnant.
I was going to say, if I was following in your footsteps, I would be finding out I'm pregnant next month. Where's some wood?
Actually, girl, is that? I don't think that's wood. Hold on. Knock on the bookshelf.
Yeah, for real.
There you go.
None of that.
No thanks. None of that.
And so yeah, very much like everyone was like, oh, who's most likely to be a mom? Maya. Like, that was me. And now I'm like, y'all can have them.
Girl.
My friends have babies. I love them. I hold them. I kiss them, and then I give them back. Also, I nannied for a long time, and that was insane birth control.
Yeah.
Love y'all, but I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want that right now. I don't think that fits in my life right now.
It'll be interesting to see where you land and when you get there.
Yeah.
You have the benefit of not having a mother that's like, bring me some grandbabies.
I don't feel any pressure.
Yeah, I don't know if that was in my generation. I think it was, honestly.
Quite possibly.
I'm curious if any other people. I am a Generation X, or as some might call me, a Zennial. Since I was born in 1980, I had an analog childhood and a very digital
adulthood.
Yeah. But yes, I do know how to tell time on an analog clock.
I do too. I do too.
But I also had
Takes me a second.
What is that? I had a Macintosh in kindergarten. I remember that, with a floppy disk, with the big floppies, with the cutout. You don't even know what that is.
I was gonna say. Straight over my head.
You've heard floppy disk.
Oh yeah, like I know what it is.
Have you seen the small ones that
I've seen the icons. Like, I know what a floppy disk, like, little
Yeah,
icon looks like,
yeah.
but I've never
You've
seen
seen
one
one
in
in
real
real
life.
life?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
I don't think so.
Wow, I wonder if I have some. Girl, I don't know, for the, so weird. I kept my college papers
Mm-hmm.
for the longest. I don't know why. In my mind, I thought you could use them. Hashtag hoarder.
Honestly, me too, but I can hoard digitally now. So my Google Drive has some
Bro.
of my best projects.
Okay. You talk about hoarding. Hold on.
Mm-mm.
Guess how many pictures I have in my
Don't
phone.
even get me started.
Just guess. Now, granted, I do have a larger iPhone than most.
Um,
I'll give you 2 guesses.
I want to say you're sitting at 22,000.
Close.
What is it?
One more guess.
28,000.
28,270.
I have 8,000 photos.
Really?
8,000.
Do you like purge? I just purged up to 20. I will say, hold on, let me see the years, because I go back, boom, 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 to 2002. Oh my God, look, that's you.
Stop it.
That's you.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let me show y'all this picture. This is the first picture of my phone. That's the little baby Maya.
Meanwhile, the first picture in my phone.
Oh, precious. Oh my goodness. The look of sheer terror on your face. I think that was John Marshall, Homecoming.
Yeah, I think it was. You know what happened? I probably realized it wasn't for me. And I was like, okay, gig is up. I want to go home.
You love dressing up, though.
I do love dressing up to this day.
To this day. Okay, so we'll find out. Stay tuned.
Devastated. Just devastated.
Oh, we gotta show that picture.
Just like truly not happy.
Oh my word, that is hilarious.
I wanted to go home.
I'm
It
sorry,
wasn't about
baby.
me. Y'all lied. I'm joking.
I'm sorry.
I'm joking.
You know, I look back now and I'm like, man, I wish I would have been more in tune. Because I think I would have noticed, like, anxiety.
Sure.
But I didn't even notice anxiety in myself.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you guys, were mistakes made? Sure. Sure. We're all human. I think as children, we have to realize that our parents are just people that happen to have you. And so for me, and especially doing my own work and therapy and things like that, it very much was, I feel like a situation where you did the best you could with the information you had at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all anyone can ask of you. And were mistakes made? Sure. But, like, who wouldn't have? And, you know, I'm working on them. They affected me for sure. But, like, I'm not going to sit here and hold that against you because, you know, just, I don't know. Context to me is so important. So, like, could you have picked up on anxiety when we were younger? Maybe. But, like, that would require you knowing what anxiety is and
Yeah.
recognizing it in yourself. And,
Yeah.
like,
you
were born in 1980, and I doubt people threw around the word anxiety like we do now.
No. And as a matter of fact, I look back and I'm like, man, I have been anxious
Your whole life?
my whole life.
Yeah, it's
You
not
talk
a new
about, they
concept.
say in kids, they say it's kind of starts with like
Gastrointestinal.
my tummy hurts or my tummy feels funny, and not really knowing why.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, the times I had like not that butterfly feeling, but the anxious
like
stomach feeling, and
almost
for
like
me,
a roller coaster.
I feel it in my legs even now, especially in the morning.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mine always manifests in my belly, always gastrointestinally.
Well, you know how mine manifests for the most part.
The scratching, yeah.
In an itch.
Yeah.
And it's like insatiable.
Burning, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I took medication for a while after I realized what it was. I mean, it had gotten to a point, it had gotten so bad that I was going to sleep scratching.
Yeah.
I mean, I was scratching to the point of bleeding.
Yeah. Anxiety, man.
Anxiety, man. And so now I still deal with that. I mean, I would still have this insatiable itch if it's just being managed through allergy pill.
Yeah.
So some of it's allergy, some of it's anxiety as well, but it's all kind of intertwined in like your neurological system.
Yeah.
Do you feel so? I mean, I'm going back. Do you feel like things like this, like, oh
Deter
man,
me?
I missed the fact that you were dealing with anxiety at a young age,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of found out for myself first, and so
Right, yeah.
that's kind of when your stuff started.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe let's look at anxiety. Let's look at therapy.
I mean, even when you were having your issues, like, I definitely would have described myself as an anxious person.
Yeah.
No. Before I graduated high school, I would have described myself as a person with anxious tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have described myself as an anxious person.
Like someone with anxiety disorder.
Right. Yeah. Until probably I was like 19.
Yeah.
Or 20.
I certainly would now. And
yeah, me too.
To think I've gone this whole time.
Yeah.
And, it was my sister that said something like, when I finally started considering anxiety, she was like, Regina, you've been anxious your whole life. And I was like, I don't even remember responding because I just remember it hit me like a sucker punch. I was like, I was anxious?
Like that's
you
what that
saw
was?
me as anxious?
Yeah.
Like, dang, who else saw me as anxious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah.
So, through that lens, I think my generation and, the kids that we raise, that's going to be such an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like as a society, we're having conversations that we've never had before.
Like mental health is at the forefront for sure, especially coming out of this pandemic.
Well, and then, there's this philosophy that problems are created or stem from how society has progressed. So basically, like, yeah, you only have that issue because society has progressed to that point. So, I don't know how better to explain that.
So, like, maybe a cave person could not have been dealing with anxiety because they were focused on survival.
Exactly. Okay. So now, like, it's just different circumstances, different, ways to live your life. Human emotion has become so complicated. We've got.
Do you think it's American?
No.
And not to say that anxiety is not like a human condition, but the fact that our culture here could be very different than someone who is, sitting in Ethiopia right now, or someone who is sitting in Greece, or someone who's in Japan, which, just the change from the culture could determine, what those societal ills.
Yeah. Also very true. Yeah. Also very true. And sort of think of crime, right? Like, there are crimes back in the day that they were like, oh, this is the worst thing to ever happen. And if they saw some of the stuff that people are being, accused of and tried for now, they'd be like, what? How do you even do that?
I listened to an article the other day on ghost guns. Have you ever heard of ghost guns?
Sorry, no.
Okay, so ghost guns. I know, don't Google it yet.
No.
The FBI might be watching.
I know, let me not put that in my history.
Ghost guns are guns that are assembled, like, at home from kids.
I see what you mean.
There's a lot of...
Like, they're not registered, they don't have a serial number.
Because there are no laws around it.
Do you see what I mean?
No one foresaw.
Do you see what I mean?
People being able to literally, through a 3D printer, print parts,
make their own,
and like make a.
Like, come on.
Yeah, or here's a gun kit. You can assemble your own gun, and it works, and they don't have to register. They don't have numbers, and they are weapons.
You know who don't do that?
So ghost guns. So they're trying to get some regulation around ghost guns right now. So yeah, it's just one of those things that our forefathers,
Yeah, like this is not a problem we anticipated.
when they were writing the Second Amendment,
Right.
They didn't think about ghost guns.
Yeah. So through the context of, through the lens of having children or being a parent in whatever capacity, yeah, that's, I'm so interested to see how those people turn out because, yeah, we're having way different conversations. We are, I feel like, in some ways, a bit more understanding, a bit more apologetic. I think as a whole, we could all stand to be a bit more gentler, a bit more gentle.
Okay.
With each other.
Yeah.
And how we talk to each other. But other than that, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm still not sold on the whole being responsible for someone else's upbringing.
Well, and I like that about you in this season because as the oldest, I feel like I was always trying to convince you to go be 9. Go be 12. I will never forget telling Esther to do something, and she, with a straight face, looked back at me and said, "But Maya said," I was like, "Ma'am, I'm the mama here. I'm the mama."
I'd be like, hold on.
So, you were always taking on more than you should have. You were always, I would find you bearing responsibility that, like, nobody asked.
Right.
I didn't even ask you for that. And so sometimes I would say, like, oh my God, thank you. Like, ooh, Maya was such a godsend. But then I would remember my older sister, talking about, how our mom, really leaned on her. And she never really, in her words, had a childhood or a young adulthood because, Mama really leaned on her a lot.
Right.
And of course, different circumstances.
Sure.
But I didn't want you to feel, what's that character in Encanto?
I still have not watched that movie to this day because Home Dude brought it up in that therapy session and I was like, oh, this movie is going to make me cry.
Yeah.
And I can't do all that.
Okay.
What's her name? Luisa?
I forget. I don't.
Or Isabel?
Isabel. I think is her name.
Yeah.
The oldest. She's stronger. She's, and so I was like, man, I don't want Maya to have to be in that space. And some of it may be inevitable, but as much as I can encourage her to go be 19, go be 21. I want you to go be 21.
Yeah. I'm getting much better at that now. Like, I'm having to learn to let go of some things that I've learned either through conditioning or pressure I put on myself or a combination of the two. I'm having to not unlearn because I think that's misleading. I'm not forgetting anything. I'm not erasing any memories or trauma or hurt. I'm reframing and adding context. That's all. That's all therapy is. And so in that, I'm learning to let go, or at least loosen my grip.
Loosen the grip.
On some of these things that I've experienced. So.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's good discussion.
I'd say.
I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me for this bonus content.
Look at my mouth. It's kind of coming back.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
It still is like fat and numb.
Oh,
I'm so scared I'm gonna bite a chunk out of my cheek. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, being a fly on the wall. This is us.
Truly.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, y'all. Continue to listen, like, subscribe. Tell your friends. If you enjoyed this conversation, tell your friends to subscribe to the bonus content. Yeah. All right. Talk to y'all soon.